So the NFL's 2025 Hall of Fame class first year ballots list just got released. Eli Manning, Luke Kuechly, Terrell Suggs, and Adam Vinatieri. And out of all those names, Eli Manning was the one that got the most attention, specifically whether or not he should be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Now, I feel like this is a very, very fascinating conversation just because I totally see two sides to this argument. Absolutely. I feel like he should definitely be a first ballot. And at the same time, for all the people who think he's not one, I totally agree with that too. So let's really break it down and see what's what. So Eli will try to replicate his brother Peyton by being a first ballot Hall of Famer. Eli obviously has 2 Super Bowl rings, both against the Patriots and both in just crazy, high dramatic fashion. And his first one being against the undefeated Patriots, one of the most craziest Cinderella stories of all time. So right away, he's a 2-time Super Bowl champion, and rings are definitely important when it comes to this sort of conversation, and he has 2 of them. Dan Marino, Warren Moon, Dan Fouts. A lot of great quarterbacks in the past have had 0 and still are highly, highly regarded QBs. And Eli has 2. I mean, Aaron Rodgers only has 1, bro, so getting Super Bowls isn't easy. I know Mahomes makes it look just incredibly easy, but it's not. Getting 2 Super Bowls is quite a feat. Eli was only a 4-time Pro Bowler, but never made All-Pro or led the league in any major stat category in a season. But he finished his career with 57,000 yards, 366 touchdowns, and yeah, that's the big con against Eli kind of being a first ballot. He never really had those MVP type of seasons. In fact, he was pretty even keel. The thing about Eli, which is his strong suit here, is he's probably one of the most clutch players of all time. But in the stats category, you really could fault him there. And speaking of his stats, his overall win-loss record in his entire career is 117 and 117. 500 ratio right there. And he only had 60.3 completion percentage. Like I said, a total of 366 TDs, but 244 picks. So yeah, man, it's not like he had these crazy MVP, Tom Brady, Mahomes stats going out the window type of years. And those 2 Super Bowl runs, he had 2 dominant defenses to help him out. So at the end of the day, I feel like it definitely is kind of a personal preference and completely subjective, because there are no specific rules in getting into the Hall of Fame. There's some great players still not in there, still waiting to get enshrined forever. And if there were specific set numbers that you had to achieve in your career in order to get there, it'd be a different conversation, but it's not like that. So it's really going to depend on the voters and what each of them value. Do they value rings? Do they value MVPs? Do they value certain statistical categories? So it really depends, man. I'm curious what y'all think. Do you think Eli is a first ballot Hall of Famer? I think no question he's definitely a Hall of Famer. I think we can all agree on that. But first ballot, I feel like the majority of NFL fans and maybe even NFL executives and employees would probably be 50-50 overall. And I think another reason why he will get in, just because of the legacy of his last name. I mean, not just Peyton, but his father too. Just been one of the classic, long-time families that's been in the NFL for a long time. All three of them have done tremendous things for the sport. So I think the voters are definitely going to have that in mind as well. Plus, like off the field, since retiring, he's done a lot around the game too. I don't know if y'all watch the Manning cast, but for me personally, every time they're on, I watch the Manning cast, and he's got his own show on ESPN. Those little things, you might not think they're anything, but I'm telling you, behind closed doors, especially the higher ups when it comes to the NFL, they appreciate him sponsoring the product, which is the NFL. Like, he's still involved in the game. They're definitely going to cater towards someone that's pro NFL than someone who just becomes like a goat farmer once they retire. You know what I mean? Like, compare him to what Phillip Rivers has done to the game post-retirement. There's really no debate there. And I know it quickly can become pretty political, but it is what it is, bro. It is what it is. But yeah, man, he would definitely have my votes. Let me know if you would vote for him as well. Definitely curious about all your opinions on Eli. Some other first-year eligible players are Ryan Khalil, Joe Staley, Darren Sproles, Demaryius Thomas, Vernon Davis, Delaney Walker, Aqib Talib, Earl Thomas. I don't really think any of those guys are first ballot. Solid players, man. Really solid players, but they could get in one day. I just don't know about first ballot. Even Luke Kuechly, I'd really have to think about that. I know he has insane stats for what he did in the short amount of time he was in the NFL. I believe he only played for like 8 or 9 years off the top of my head. Someone correct me in the comments below if I'm wrong, but I just don't know, man. I know Pat Willis also didn't have like a super long career compared to like Ray Lewis or anything like that, but I don't know about Luke Kuechly. I think he's close, but I don't know. Terrell Suggs, it's close as well. I'd really have to break down the stats and think about that one. I think Adam Vinatieri is the most other likely first ballot just because his resume is absolutely insane. Wins after wins after wins. Most clutch kicker of all time. Most points ever, I believe, by a kicker. He's just arguably the greatest kicker of all time. Him or Justin Tucker as of right now. So I really feel like the likelihood of first ballots out of that group is just Eli or Adam Vinatieri. If you disagree with me, let me know in the comments below. Marshall Yonda, longtime Raven, is also eligible for the first time to enter the Hall of Fame. So that is probably my third choice for most likely to be first ballot, but we'll have to find out. But yeah, man, let me know who you would want to see in the Hall of Fame out of all those guys, and let me know if there's anybody not in the Hall of Fame that you really want them to get in that have just been snubbed year after year after year. Let me know in the comments. Always interesting to hear what you guys think. And yeah, man, that's all I got for right now. Peace.
Tackle's made, and that'll move the chains. That's his 6th catch of the day.
When you can't hit the quarterback or put pressure on him, there's not much you're going to get done then. That time, quarterback had time and throws it down the field for another completion.
We'll send it back to the quarterback out of the gun. The defense gets a sack.
Outside linebackers who can get to the quarterback, they are a rare breed in the NFL because it takes talent, size, speed, everything to do it as a linebacker, and we saw it that time on display.
Larry Donnell has the catch. And he's tackled, but not until he picked up the first down.
That out route that time was run to perfection by the receiver. He made such a sharp cut. He gives himself some space from the defender, and the quarterback puts the football right on target just short of that first down marker.
And it's knocked down.
Gets tight down here in the red zone. So if you're a defender, read the quarterback. You make a quick break on the football. Hey, you get in position like this, you can knock it down.
Throws the pass. He's brought down.